Okay guys, so it's a pretty brisk day, a good brisk day though, I would say, and we're on our way now. We're gonna view 3 units, or 4, depending on how much time we have remaining on our schedule. All Midtown, the last one might be Annex, we'll see, and we're gonna get the process started for you guys. All right guys, so we are here about to see the first unit in Midtown on Roehampton. Now, as you can probably hear from around me, Roehampton, along with Broadway, Redpath, has been dealing with a lot of construction, is currently dealing with a lot of construction. So one of the downsides of considering an area such as this, although you're in a pretty good neighborhood, pretty good area, very close to a lot of single family, multi-million properties, is the sheer level of construction, specifically condo construction that exists in this area. Okay, the first building is going to be 30 Roehampton, one of the better buildings in the Midtown area, especially on Roehampton, I would say. We just saw the first unit. Let me take you through it. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-washroom, 1 parking, 1 locker in 30 Roehampton. And as you guys can see, and I'm interested to see what you guys will make of this view. It faces this track, which is part of the College Institute, which is pretty much a high school in Midtown. And it seems as if lately I've been really showing a lot of units around this track. I purchased a unit recently at 99 Broadway, and I saw a couple of units that were facing this track, and I saw a couple of buildings that were adjacent to this track, namely 25 Broadway. Yesterday, actually, I was showing 25 Broadway. But this could be a deal breaker for some. For others, they find it aesthetically pleasing. Not a noise issue, of course, but more so maybe a privacy issue for some. Here we have the unit in question. Now, of course, they're defining that right there as the 2nd bedroom. That is the den, which is quite a, I would say, in polite ways, coffin-esque den. And then for the rest of the unit, what we have is the primary here. As you guys can see, the camera actually makes it look smaller than it is due to the lens. It appears bigger in person, and then we have the primary ensuite there. Now, I actually quite like 30 Roehampton. I prefer 30 Roehampton, for instance, over 161 Roehampton further down the street. 30 Roehampton is a pretty energy efficient building. It's a LEED certified building. It's really quiet, really good building. I also really approve of 25, or rather 25 Broadway, which is that way. Right, sorry, I accidentally earlier pointed to that building and I said it's 25 Broadway. That's not the case. That's, I believe, 70 Roehampton. And 70 Roehampton and 25 Broadway are interconnected. They're kind of sister buildings. Anyways, this is all besides the point. But this is listed at $798,000. And let's just say that it's not gonna sell for nearly as high as they're asking. Okay, so here we are in the second unit in the second building. Now, this building is 98 Lillian, which is the same kind of conjoined building with 89 Dunfield. They don't share a lobby, 2 separate lobbies, but they're, once again, connected at the hip. And this unit definitely leaves a lot to be desired, as you guys can see. It's definitely more wear and tear. It's darker. The view is nowhere near as bright, at least, as the other one. And just to show you, this is kind of facing the back of the adjacent building and the loading area of this building, which you're gonna probably hear a fair amount of truck noises. This balcony is borderline, I wanna say unusable, but it wouldn't be most people's cup of tea. And for $760,000, once again, you have a situation where you have this as your second bed, and then this is your primary, right? So, frankly, although 89 Dunfield and 98 Lillian are some of the better buildings in Midtown, I still like the previous one we saw at 30 Roehampton better, I would say. And clearly this unit has been tenanted. Like, you have some remnants there, scratches on the wall. These are clear and obvious signs that we're looking at a previously tenanted unit in today's down market, right? I'm not saying it's not gonna sell at this asking price, or rather there's a listing iteration, but if it does sell, it should be well below asking, because you can do so much better for these price points, I would say. Get another view of the unit right here. All right, guys, here we are at the last property of the day, the last unit of the day in Annex, the Annex area. We've moved from Yonge and Egg to the Annex. This is at 835 St. Clair. I like the Annex better than Yonge and Eglinton. Of course, it's easy to say that, but the Annex is much more pricey. And also the condos are more limited in terms of quantity. In terms of quality, you know, they're obviously good and bad buildings like anywhere else. Anyways, this is the unit, probably the best unit we've seen today. Has the most natural light, is the brightest, is also the most spacious, and has 2 proper bedrooms. Now, the thing about 835 St. Clair West, it's like a very boutique low-rise building, right? It's a completely different story than the other ones we saw. Even the first one we saw today on Roehampton, for a high-rise, it's very quiet, it's very residential. But compared to this type of building where it's only 8 to 11 stories, it's still gonna be a little bit more on the busier side. I actually like this brick backdrop. I'm not sure if it's coming through in the video, but the brick backdrop actually adds a little bit, in my opinion, aesthetically to the property, I would say. You know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and this is the second bed, right? The unit is a little bit low to the ground. It's only on the 3rd floor, so you get to people watch if you want to. For others, you know, you have to understand people might be watching you. So once again, these things come to a client by client, right? Some clients are so privacy oriented, so, you know, I don't want anyone to be even seen inside my unit, so covert. Other clients are really flexible. They don't even really care. And then this is the primary as well, as you guys can see. So proper bedrooms, at least in this one. It is the priciest one though. This is listed for around $930. And we see here the walk-in closet, which is a decent sized walk-in closet, I would say.